Paramount Pictures is currently filming a major motion picture in North Georgia called
Very interesting things which you'll see once you check out that movie.
We generally work on a few different types of projects. Obviously, we do a lot of short films.
Michael, how did you get started in filmmaking?
A very large part of the success of any project.
I started my filmmaking career actually on a cruise ship making short films.
Wow. I'm the executive producer to our new feature film, The Common Denominator.
Tell us a little bit about your character in the film.
She's really upset from the beginning, from the get-go.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, basically, I somehow started acting in 1990.
Hello, I'm Chris Mashburn. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Rural Hollywood, a show that takes an in-depth look at the movie industry in the Southeast and beyond. On today's episode, Rebecca Morrill will be talking with Lucas Godfrey, who's the founder of the first annual Atlanta Horror Fest.
Thank you. I am Rebecca, and we are at the first annual Atlanta Horror Fest in downtown Atlanta. We're here today interviewing some various industry professionals and just some various participants that are here for the show. So I hope you stay tuned and enjoy this show. Hi, and welcome back. We're here today with Lucas Godfrey, who is the co-founder of the Horror Fest that we have in Atlanta. How are you doing today, Lucas?
I'm doing great. It's lots of stress and lots of fun.
Oh, I believe it. So how long have you been interested in this Horror Fest type thing?
Well, horror has always been a huge thing with me. My mom kind of raised me on just watching horror movies. Way too young, I should have been. But yeah, so I mean, it's been an ongoing thing of just like a hardcore obsession with horror and just really disgusting movies. But yeah, so I mean, it's been that, and then I mean, the whole Horror Fest thing just kind of started with the Zombie Walk, which we found out about through Rue Morgue magazine, and they had like a little thing in there. Went and checked that out. It's apparently a thing that's been going on kind of throughout the world throughout the last year or so. Started up in Canada, and it's kind of happened in like Seattle, all throughout California, Australia, kind of all over the place. Wow. So kind of came up with the idea to try to do one here. Well, it kind of started building up a lot of interest with that. And so after we got a lot of interest for it, I was talking to a friend of mine that I worked with named Eric Panter, who runs the Atlanta Underground Film Festival, DocuFest, and is currently working on Animation Attack. Wow. So we were kind of tossing ideas back and forth, and we came up with the idea to do a horror film festival. So we started out with that idea, and then it turned into, hey, I know a bunch of bands. I'll start booking a bunch of bands. So it ended up turning into a 4-day event with 25 bands and a whole lot of movies.
All of that with just two brains collaborating.
Yeah, it was just that. I mean, it's just me and him, and then we slowly just started like picking up other people that were just like wanting to volunteer and help out. We found a guy who was doing graphic art with us, Jonathan Chafin, really great guy, and Dave Cook, a really awesome like horror illustrator, does zombies and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, so I mean, it was a lot of that stuff, just meeting the right people. We met up with Billy Messina from Netherworld, and he was, I kind of like look up to that guy because he's pretty much like the king of all things horror in Atlanta. Like all throughout this month of Halloween, like you've seen just constant interviews with Billy Messina, and, really great guy, and he's been very helpful with us and kind of helping like kind of kick this thing off.
It's like a horrific icon.
Yeah, he really is. I definitely look up to him. Like, with this thing, I want to take it to another level. I want to take it up to, a yearly event, which it's already going to be. Right. A yearly event that slowly grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Picking up more sponsors, more entertainment, more movies, bigger movies, all kinds of stuff like that. But I mean, when I say bigger movies, I mean, I still want like the same level of movies. I like the independent movies, stuff like that. And we've got a lot of local films this time, which is really great. I love that. So I mean, it also helps bring out more people when they're local. And
local support is always huge.
Yes. And as we've seen a lot today, I've played one movie that like 5 o'clock today. No, it was 2 o'clock today, called The Bridge, which had like those guys alone brought like 30 people with them. So it was really cool.
It's a good turnout.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. So yeah, it's been great. Like, you know, the bands are bringing out a lot of people. I mean, we are doing it on Halloween weekend, so we're competing with a lot of different events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're into filmmaking too. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I trained for a little while with Toby Sells, who is kind of one of the bigger names in creature effects as far as like special effects and stuff go in the Southeast. He started out in LA, moved out here, kind of problems with the family. Yeah, so he got out here and opened up his own shop. He's worked on a lot of like movies and stuff like that. And I started an internship with him for a little while. Had to kind of, right now I'm on hiatus with that just because of the Horror Fest. And so he gave me a lot of training in like the expensive special effects making.
Yeah.
And then with that, I also kind of took and started mixing in the low budget effects, which, you know, paper towels, rolling them up and wetting them to make fake intestines and all kinds of stuff like that. So you know, I worked on a short film called Touch of Grammaton. It's like a sequel to that's some movie. Yeah, it's a kind of low budget movie, but it was cool. We did like a couple of effects on there, and then I kind of started getting more of a feel to film. I'm a film student at Georgia State, and so I started meeting more and more people. Got in touch with Alan Wilbanks, who directed a Lionsgate film called Motorhome Massacre, and so started talking to him and became in charge of special effects for his movie.
Incredible.
Which is awesome, and I love doing it. Alan's a great guy. We've done a lot of filming, and he loves all the ideas I've kind of been throwing at him. So, no, it's really great. And so it's just been like a lot of like little projects here and there. I've got a lot of things lined up. There's one zombie film that's coming up. Going to start filming like around January called Pushing Up Daisies that I'm also going to be kind of working on. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
So that's in your immediate future. Do you see anything long term that you're coming out with that you could tell us about?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of playing the field, seeing, you know, the kind of people that I can meet up with and see what I can eventually pull out of this. And it's, you know, I'm meeting a lot of great people with this and getting a lot of the connections that I need to make in order to like get into this field. And working with Alan Wilbanks has just been great. Like he's got a lot of like cool ideas, and he's got the connections. Absolutely. A lot of connections. So, yeah, working with him's fun. So.
And it sounds great. I'm very impressed with everything that you're doing right now. That's really incredible. Do you have a plug or anything that you want to give the viewers at home?
Atlanta Horror Fest.
Going strong.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as other people that have just helped us out, Netherworld's been really great. All the people there. Evil A Go-Go, it's a online podcast. It's a psychobilly, horror punk, all kinds of stuff like that. Madhouse Molly's been great to us, just promoting us. The Georgia State radio station has been amazing to us, talking about it a lot, giving away tickets and stuff. So, but yeah.
That's great. Do you have a website where anybody can check out your stuff?
Yeah, all of the information about this is on AtlantaHorrorFest.com. You can go there and see pictures of the zombie walk, which happened yesterday, which it poured down rain yesterday, but we still had about 70 or so people show up, and we walked through the rain to Oakland Cemetery. Well, started at Lenny's Bar, went to Oakland Cemetery, walked by the Capitol, went to Underground Atlanta, and then took Marta back.
Those are some dedicated zombies.
Yeah, and it was a lot of them, and they were worn out afterwards.
Incredible.
At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as this situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into the flesh-eating ghouls.
Hi, we're back again. We're up at the Idrome today during the Horror Fest, the season's first, and we're here with Circus Envy at the moment. Circus Envy, tell me a little bit about your two sidekicks right here and what you're doing tonight.
Well, since so many people consider me the Hugh Hefner of horror, I consider these my ghouls next door. We have Madam H on this side and Candy Chaos over here. And we are just basically hosting some of the films, adding a little comedy, horror, improv in between just to keep it entertaining.
Now, do you do this often?
As often as possible,
Keep your sidekicks close?
As close as possible. There's, sometimes they break the shackles and you just can't help it.
Excellent. Well, what do you do, Miss Candy Chaos?
Oh, lots of different fun things.
What won't she do is the question.
That's right.
So what role are you playing up here tonight?
Just being supportive of my most favorite clown in the whole wide world.
Oh, you have clown support. That's great. And Miss H, how about you?
Just the cynical sidekick.
That's great.
Trying to increase the fluoride in her water, but she's just not getting any more submissive. I don't know what the deal is.
So where do you plan on going outside of here? Once you leave out of here, you have another escapade that you're going on because it's, Halloween time?
Yeah, absolutely. Rehab.
That's great. Okay, well, I've seen your pictures and things up here. So how did you get started in this whole thing?
Oh, God, which pictures are those? Tell me they're not the Polaroids. I was young and I needed the money. Oh, you mean those pictures? Yeah, absolutely. Just want to offer the fans a little something, a little trauma to take home with them.
Excellent. Traumatized they will be.
Absolutely.
So you love it. You have to love it. I mean, do you do this every day, or is it just seasonal, or how do you do it?
It's semi-seasonal. For me, Halloween is every day. I do have a corporate job, and probably shouldn't name the company, so I'll maintain that corporate job. But I also have a scary Santa thing, and Easter bunny suit with tire tread marks on it. So there's horror in every season.
Absolutely. And what about you? Do you do this primarily, or do you do something else as well?
I just stick with him.
You have a whole lot of support over here. And Madam H?
I have the most horrifying job there is. I'm a mother.
It can be good and bad, huh?
Right, so when I can escape, I come here, surprisingly. No.
Well, I mean, it looks like you love what you do. Do you love it?
Very much so.
Good. Have you three been collaborating for a while now?
We've been friends for almost the last the last 20 years.
Wow.
So yes. We're actually celebrating the first time we really did a venture out of state was to Spooky World in Boston, and that was 10 years ago. So this is our anniversary.
A reunion.
Yeah, our celebration.
Nice. So do you plan on hosting the next Horror Fest as well?
I definitely hope to. I definitely hope to see other venues open up. A friend of mine and I hosted the Plan 9 from Outer Space, which was something that we funded back in September, and that's basically what led to this gig. So.
Nice.
I like the horror comedy type routine, and I like write all my own material and everything. So it's definitely something that I think it combines my interest in horror and comedy and writing, and so it puts a lot of elements that I enjoy all into one venue.
So do you do filmmaking as well?
I have not gotten into that yet. Only some 8mm that I probably shouldn't discuss.
Do you think it's something that you might venture into, maybe down the road?
Again, probably rehab, aside from that.
Excellent. Well, where will we see you popping up around the globe?
America's Most Wanted. Actually, I don't have anything on the calendar right now. I think I may be collaborating with a local club, Hext, for their December Ween kind of Christmas Halloween celebration in December. So that's really the next thing on my agenda, and I have an appearance scheduled on Halloween night at the Masquerade here in Atlanta as well. So those are my two immediate things on the calendar.
That's what he's got cleared with his parole officer.
Absolutely.
Got the release papers. Good deal. Well, do you have a plug or anything that you want to give the viewers at home so they can look up, anything that you're doing or track you down, or?
I'm I'm actually on MySpace right now. I don't have an official page, but my address is myspace.com/scarypup.
Scary Pup. Well, we look forward to seeing more of you and your dynamic duo over here in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome back. We're here with Stephen Granger, who co-produced and wrote the movie Come Get Some. Now he has Come Get Some 2, which is out very soon. Stephen, how have you liked the world of filmmaking?
I've enjoyed film quite a bit. I did a little bit of Hollywood stuff when there was some of that around here, and I've been doing more indie film, and I enjoy the hands-on stuff with indie more.
So can you tell me a little bit about what Come Get Some is about?
It's about a government agency called the HUDs, the Human Undead Defense Service, and they've been dealing with undead crisis since '68 when it first started happening in Pittsburgh. And their budget's been cut like a lot of government agencies, so in order to get their budget back, they stage a phony crisis to say, there, see what happens when you cut our budget, then problems happen. So they go to a small southern town, they release, and cause zombies to release, but it turns out there's like 4 women there they don't take any kind of guff off of anybody, and they decide to fight back. And they send in an agent who's played by me, who's like the last resort, the worst agent they have. He's like a freelancer. He does all the terrible jobs that none of the other agents want because they figure he's going to screw up. But when he joins up with the girls, he actually ends up doing a pretty good job. The sequel is about a corporation which decides to sell zombies as cheap labor. And much like the companies that sell products that maybe aren't so safe and people end up getting hurt from, the idea is a corporation, they don't care that the zombies are going to every once in a while get loose and kill somebody. They're just trying to make a quick buck. So the Human Undead Defense Service gets sent in once again to try to clean up everything up because they don't want once again a public outcry of it. So they send in the last resort men again because it's a garbage work.
Right. Do you have your hand in a couple of different things going on, or is Come Get Some your primary focus?
Well, still trying to sell Come Get Some because it hasn't been distributed yet. I'm editing Come Get Some More, the sequel. I worked on Poultrygeist for Troma last summer, and that's going to be coming out probably next month. That's a little bit iffy. They're still trying to finish that up. I've worked on 3 or 4 other films with other people. I do a lot of independent stuff. They shot a thing called Jesus H. Zombie this past summer, and I went out and was a zombie for one day for that guy, just sort of spread the indie love around, because a lot of people help me out making my film, so I try to help as many people out making theirs as I can.
Well, do you like the gory horror flick type stuff best?
Yeah, I've always been a horror junkie. I mean, I'm a film junkie in general, but I've always loved horror films, so it just makes sense that would be what I make. Plus, it's the sort of thing people can accept on a lower budget, as opposed to you try to make a drama on a real low budget or a comedy. It's a lot harder because people are a lot more critical. If you're making a horror film or a gory horror film, people are expecting a certain amount of cheese involved, so you can get away with a lot of stuff.
So you put your creativeness into this a whole lot.
Yeah, especially on a low budget or no budget, really, you have to be creative to make things work because you don't have the money or a lot of expertise to get things to happen, so you have to make things look as good as you can creatively.
Absolutely. How long have you been in the industry?
When I moved to Atlanta in 1990, I started doing film. I'd been doing mainly theater up to that point, and I started doing film here because there's a lot of film work. They had a couple of TV series were filming here, and they were filming major Hollywood stuff all the time, and I got work right away. And then when that kind of dried up around Atlanta, all the film work went to like North Carolina and Florida. I started doing indie films, which that was a lot more. You got to do a lot more because Hollywood's very specialized, and only the people in the particular union or that particular profession with a lot of expertise get to do certain things. Like, I'm not going to get to direct a Hollywood film. I'm not going to get to write a Hollywood film. Independent, I can do whatever I need to do.
Absolutely, and you can make it your own.
Yeah, you get to have your own personal touch. If you have a passion for it, you can put it into it, and that's what makes the film good or bad, is you put your passion into it.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. Well, what can we see coming out after Poultrygeist?
Well, I know Troma is talking about going to Wales and shooting a thing called Schlock and Schlockability, The Revenge of Jane Austen. And I have ideas through part 5 of the Zombie Chronicles with Come Get Some. And I have a Western that's possibly in the works and a couple other things that I may be working on with other people, because I like to work with other people on their projects as well as mine, so I don't just get locked into what I want to do all the time or if I'm just in charge. I like to be just a worker with other people too.
Absolutely, versatility. Well, is there a plug that you would like to give the people out home so that they can look up Poultrygeist and Come Get Some?
If you want to come get some, go to comegetSomeTheFilm.com. If you're looking for Poultrygeist, Trauma.com. And hopefully it'll be playing at a theater near you within a month.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, Stephen.
Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back. We're here again with Rule Hollywood, and we're here today with Chet Lemons, who has done some short stories, some short films, and we're going to talk to him today about some of his production issues. So, Chet, how long have you been interested in this stuff?
My whole life, pretty much. The Usual Suspects is what got me into wanting to make films. So, and my movie is completely unlike Usual Suspects, but you know, it got me really interested in making them. So.
Now, what's the name of your short film?
The name of my short is Handy Snacks, and it's a little play on words because he eats his hand as a snack.
It's kind of gory, but you know, it sounds interesting, I guess.
It's that's all it is. It's just gore, just blood and guts, you know.
Now, do you have any other things that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, I have a 15-minute production I'm working on. Just still in pre-production. It's probably going to be highly offensive and controversial, and hopefully will piss a lot of people off, which is essentially my goal.
So that's okay with you?
Oh, I have no problem with it.
Good deal.
So hopefully other people will have problems with it.
Never know in this industry.
No, you don't, but you got to try, right?
Hi, and welcome back. I'm here right now with Alan and Ethan, and they are some up-and-coming film producers that are going to tell me a little bit about their film. How you doing, Alan?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
I'm great. Tell me a little bit about your film.
Currently, it's basically going to be, I guess, run-of-the-mill zombie kind of comedy thing. We're not trying to, you know, we're going to try to stay devoid of a lot of stereotypes that are out there. And a lot of horror films, they'll nod off at other films. We were talking about this earlier. And, you know, they'll do stuff that other films did and be like, you know, and everyone will be like, oh, yeah, that's from that film. We're going to stick completely devoid of that, too. We're going to completely avoid that, as original as we can be. Right now, it's basically the story of a husband and wife. and we're doing a back-to-back thing, you know, a day in their life normal, and then the next day it's going to be a day in the life, but with the zombies. And for about half the movie, just keep going? Okay. So for about half the movie, you know, he's not going to notice anything, and then about halfway through it's going to click in, you know, world's infested with zombies, and that's kind of when the movie kicks off.
Excellent. And Ethan, what do you have a part in?
I'm going to be the pothead in the movie.
Oh, boy.
Okay, to explain where he left off, basically me and him are doing everything, makeup, cinematography. We're building, I don't remember what they're called, but things basically where we can do like sliding, rotating shots and stuff. We're doing, everything's going to be homemade, and he's helping me with makeup. He's helping me, we have to fix the script in certain portions and add a little more dialogue because it's kind of empty right now, but that's about it for him too.
When do you think this will come out on film?
Probably next year at Horror Fest.
Hopefully we'll have it released next Horror Fest, actually, and you guys can see it, so look for us.
Good deal. Now, do you guys collaborate with Horror Fest?
No, not whatsoever. We drove down from Columbus, Georgia. We're staying all 4 days. We're really psyched about it. I mean, it's pretty fun.
We've been planning this for like 8 months.
We've been planning it since the day we heard about it. So
wow.
We're big fans of the genre.
So this film, do you have a name for it yet?
No name yet. We probably won't even work that out until the movie's actually done.
It'll be something really stupid. The stupidest film name ever.
Yeah, so there'll be comedy, and you'll get a good laugh.
Well, do you have anything planned after that?
If it's good and it goes over well, if anyone actually gives a damn about it, we may just go on and make more. Good. Do what we love.
All right, well, Alan and Ethan, it was great talking to you guys, and I wish you much success with your film.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's it for our first annual Atlanta Horror Fest. I hope that you enjoyed the show.
We'd like to thank our guest, Lucas Godfrey, as well as the guests from the Atlanta Horror Fest for appearing on our show. We'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us. So be sure to tune in next time for another exciting episode of Rule Hollywood.